Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee Blanchard. I will actually be your academic advisor during your graduate studies here at FSU. We're so excited that you've decided to join the Moran College of Entrepreneurship in the Dedman School of Hospitality here at FSU to pursue your master's degree. This orientation video is relevant to all graduate students, no matter which program you are in here at the college. Each program will have their own separate live virtual orientation welcome, so please be sure to check the Canvas site for those days, times, and Zoom links. Now on to the good stuff. Welcome to the new graduate student orientation for the Moran College of Entrepreneurship. One thing I want to mention is that I did send a welcome email out to all new incoming students. In this email was a new graduate student checklist. Please click on that link to find out important information about getting started for the fall semester. And just send me an email if you have any questions at all. So here's some need to know information. We here in the Moran College of Entrepreneurship actually have two locations. We have a campus location on FSU's main campus. It is called the Roger K. Shaw Building. It's located here in the left-hand side picture. So this building is on the corner of West Call Street and Dewey Street, kind of catty corner to the Strozier Library. And then on the right-hand side, you can see our downtown Moran building. This location is, it's on the corner of Monroe Street and Park Avenue. And you can see the address down here. It's the front office is directly on South Monroe Street. I will be providing those students that will be going to campus, especially at the Moran building, some further parking information about where you can park during your class times here. Here you can see a picture of the Dedman School of Hospitality on FSU's main campus. This is located at the University Center in Building B, right directly behind the Unconquered statue. If you've done any campus tours, this is where you've been. So if any Dedman School of Hospitality students would like to visit campus, this is where you would go. Here we have some important contact information for both the Moran College of Entrepreneurship and the Dedman School of Hospitality. This information can be found in your graduate student handbook. If you need to find this, you can find it on your Canvas site. Also, it was attached to the welcome email I sent you all. My information is located here on the right. I will be the graduate program coordinator, or aka your advisor, for all graduate programs here at the Moran College and the Dedman School. Here you can find some important college labs and locations for both the Dedman School of Hospitality and the Moran College of Entrepreneurship. This information is also found in a graduate student handbook, so if you need to look this up, you can find it there. So we have now our academic graduate policies that we will be going. Professionalism. Graduate students represent Fuller State University, and you're expected to conduct yourself in a professional manner. So here are some guidelines for professional etiquette. Respect departmental supplies and equipment. Meet classes and appointments as scheduled, and follow the advice given to you by your advisor and instructors. If you're unable to meet scheduled class or appointments, whether in person or online, please be sure to contact your instructor or advisor. View your relationship with your professors as a professional one. Addressing instructors properly is used to communicate respect for a person's position. The simplest way to do this is to address them as professor. If they have a PhD, you could call them by doctor, but if you are unsure of the degree which they hold, address them as professor. Not all instructors have PhDs, but if they're teaching a graduate course, they're inhabiting the role of professor and should be addressed as such, unless they have strictly otherwise stated they would like to be addressed by something else. So you need to be professional in all situations. Professionalism includes appropriate behavior in the classroom, online or in person, regarding your physical actions. Disruptive behavior can result in being asked to leave the class, even online. Never make negative comments about your peers, instructors, or anyone else. Do not interrupt instructors, speakers, or peers when presentations and lectures are being given. And be sure to raise your hand or wait until they have finished speaking. Do not be late and show up prepared. Graduate students are expected to arrive on time for class and stay the entire class period, even in your online classes. Graduate students are expected to read prior to class, prepare projects and presentations and assignments on time, and please present in a professional manner. Be an active listener. Be respectful of different points of views. Be calm and judicious in your responses. This includes yielding to other students and your professor during a discussion to allow all voices to be heard. Respect your peers and other professionals in person and online. Do not bully or disrespect others. If you are experiencing any problems, speak with a faculty member or advisor to work or to resolve the issue. Dress appropriately and always use appropriate language. Zoom etiquettes. Now that we are in a different time and classes are possibly going to be remote or through Zoom, the university has come up with some Zoom etiquette tips. So please follow these tips to make sure your transition to online learning is a success for both you and the faculty. So be mindful of your location. Avoid distracting backgrounds by attending your Zoom in a clean, well-lit, quiet location. Try using one of Zoom's virtual backgrounds if possible, but don't change it if during a lecture. Experiment with finding the perfect background and lighting prior to class time. Minimize distractions and focus on instruction. Silence your phone and computer notifications. Turn off the TV and any music, move your pets to another room, let your roommates know when you are online and ask not to be disturbed. Although it's tempting, refrain from multitasking during the lecture. Remember to mute. Even if you've found the perfect quiet location, you never know when an unexpected noise will happen. Coughs, sneezes, sirens, barking dogs are inevitable. Mute yourself upon joining class. Utilize Zoom's chat function to send a question to the full group or your professor only. If your class involves a lot of discussion, switch your audio settings to push to talk to allow you to stay muted until you press the space bar to speak. Think about your actions on camera. Remember, everyone can see you, so it's important to stay still and attentive. That big yawn, stretch, or walk to the refrigerator are distracting to your professors and classmates. Your clothing should be appropriate. Dress as if you were attending class in person, and don't use your class time as an opportunity to snack. You wouldn't munch through a bag of chips in the lecture hall, so don't eat through your Zoom lecture. Be courteous as possible to ensure a focused learning environment for all. Now, if you have any questions, you can get started at its.fsu.edu/Zoom. Required first day attendance policy. University-wide policy requires all students to attend the first class meeting of all classes for which they are registered. Students who do not attend the first class meeting of a course will be dropped from the course by the department that offers this course. This policy applies to all levels of courses in all campuses and study centers, including online classes. It remains the student's responsibility to verify course drops and check that fees are adjusted. Student course load. So here is where we discuss full-time versus part-time and maximum credit hours. For graduate assistantship holders, 9 credit hours per semester is defined as a full-time load. To receive financial aid, all graduate students must be enrolled in at least 6 credit hours per semester, 15 hours max. Any larger course load than that needs to be approved by the dean. Only 5,000 level and above courses will be counted towards your total graduate credits and GPA. If for some reason you're taking any prerequisite courses in the undergraduate level, these will be on your transcripts but will not be counted towards your total graduate credits and towards your graduate GPA. Time limit. The master's degree which you're enrolled in must be completed within 7 years from the time the student first registers for graduate credit. Any graduate work transferred from another institution must have commenced not more than 7 years prior to completion of the degree for the credits to be applicable to the master's degree. Continuous enrollment. Continuous enrollment at Florida State University is defined as enrollment without any interruption of 2 or more consecutive semesters, including the summer semester. So credits earned at any other institution during this time will not be counted towards this continuous enrollment. Graduate students who are not enrolled for more than 2 consecutive semesters, including summer, and who are not approved for a leave of absence must apply for readmission before resuming their graduate studies. This means that if you took off 2 semesters or more, you will be required to reapply to the graduate program and go through the entire application process from start to finish. Leave of absence. Under special circumstances, graduate students may apply for a leave of absence from the university for up to 3 consecutive semesters, including the summer semester. The circumstances justifying a leave may include personal or family medical conditions, call to active military, parental leave, death in immediate family, or completion of an off-campus internship. You must provide appropriate documentation and rationale for this request. An approved leave of absence preserves your academic status in the program, and the time off will not be counted against the time limit. Registration is not required during this leave, and readmission is also not required. A leave of absence can be extended, but students have to reapply for extension, and a student may also terminate the leave of absence at any time and return to their study. While on a leave, a student will not have access to any campus facilities and personnel, labs, libraries, and online resources that require an FSU ID, including Canvas. Drop add changes to schedule. The drop add period is the first 4 days of each semester. This is when individual courses can be added, dropped, or any sections can be changed. These changes will not reflect negatively on your tuition owed to the university. You can take care of any holds or to-do items during this time, and then individual courses can be dropped through the 7th week of the classes, but after the 7th week, students will need the approval of the graduate studies director and the dean. Also be aware that any classes that are dropped or added after the first 4 days of the semester, you will be financially responsible for those classes. Withdrawals. This is different from drops. Dropping a course is allowed, but if you plan to drop all courses from your schedule, this constitutes a withdrawal from the university. Withdrawals are initiated through the Office of the Dean of Students, but you also need to notify myself as your academic advisor. Withdrawal deadlines. Before the first 4 days of classes, you're not held liable for tuition or fees. Before the end of the 4th week of classes, you're eligible for a 25% refund. And after 4th week of classes, you're fully liable for all tuition and fees and not eligible for a refund. A graduate student wishing to re-enter the university for the following 2 semesters after that withdrawal must have approval from the academic dean, and students wishing to re-enter after 2 semesters must then reapply to the program through the Office of Admissions. Course, medical drops and withdrawals. Medical course drops are generally approved for unforeseeable illnesses or injuries that interfere with your ability to complete specific courses. So medical withdrawals are actually when all the courses are dropped because it interferes with your ability to complete the entire semester. Courses approved to be dropped or withdrawn under these circumstances may be noted on your transcript as a WD grade. And of course, appropriate documentation is required and will be reviewed by the University Health Services here at FSU. Academic retention policy. So this is probably the most important section out of all this orientation. As a graduate student at FSU, you are required to have a 3.0 GPA in all graduate courses, which is 5,000 level or above. No courses with a grade C- or lower will be credited towards that graduate degree. A graduate student whose cumulative GPA falls below that 3.0 at the end of a term will be considered to be not in good academic standing by the university and will be placed on academic probation. If a 3.0 cumulative GPA is not attained by the end of the next full term of enrollment, the student will be placed on an academic dismissal. Academic dismissals constitute a separation from the student and the university for academic reasons. Students on dismissal will not be permitted to register for any classes, including registering as a non-degree student at FSU. At the time of the dismissal, the major professor or director may petition for consideration of special circumstances that the professor thinks constitutes justification for this exception. but under no circumstances will a student be allowed more than one additional term of probation after reinstatement. Students on dismissal are not eligible for readmission or the readmission appeal process unless they have first been reinstated by the academic dean. The academic dean is the final authority for reinstatement consideration. So here I have a graph for you that shows exactly what will happen if your GPA falls below a 3.0. So once it falls below 3.0, you are then placed on academic probation. The next enrolled semester, the student will be required to bring your GPA up to a 3.0. So if you bring your GPA back up to a 3.0 after grades post during that semester, you're reinstated to back to good academic standing. But if your GPA remains below 3.0 during that next semester, you will be dismissed from the university. If you're approved by the academic dean for one final chance to be reinstated, you will have your one last chance during your final semester to bring your GPA back up to a 3.0. If you fail to bring your GPA back up to a 3.0, you will be indefinitely dismissed from FSU and will not be able to apply for graduate studies or non-degree seeking studies at FSU. GPA dismissal. Students who are subsequently reinstated for graduate enrollment are considered to be on dismissal probation and you'll have that one term to increase your GPA up to a 3.0. Under no circumstances will a student be allowed more than one additional term of probation after reinstatement. Here it talks about the review process for GPA dismissals. I do recommend that you read this in your graduate student handbook, especially if you are at risk of being on academic probation. Here are some readmission procedures. So students on dismissal are not eligible for readmission or the readmission appeal process unless you've been reinstated by the dean. The academic dean, again, is the final authority for reinstatement considerations. If a student dismissed in accordance with the policy stated above wishes to apply for readmission to the program, the student should present a written statement from the student explaining the circumstances they believe warrants readmission to the program, along with a request for reinstatement. The request must come directly from the faculty advisor or coordinator, which is myself, with a justification for why this reinstatement is warranted, what courses the student plans to bring up in their subsequent term, and what grades must be earned in those courses to bring your GPA back up to a 3.0. Program termination, which is dismissals for reasons other than GPA, are processed at the academic program/department level and may occur for a number of different reasons. So some examples include inability to conduct research in a fashion appropriate with the accepted norms of a discipline, inability to function within a team environment to the degree that it negatively affects the learning, practice, and/or research of fellow graduate students, demonstration of behavior that is not acceptable with the general community in which the student would be practicing should he or she graduate, failure meeting one or more major milestone requirements. Final degree clearance. Policy for awarding degrees. If a graduate student has completed all the degree requirements, the academic dean confirms this and the student is eligible to be awarded the degree. The university reserves the right to award the degree. Once the degree is awarded, the student must then be readmitted to FSU if you want to enroll in any further classes. Once a degree has been awarded, all coursework for that degree is considered final and cannot be changed. Graduation requirements. So graduate students are required to apply for graduation online using your My FSU page under your Academics tab. This is usually shown during your second week of your last semester in the program. If a candidate applied for graduation in a previous term but did not complete the degree, the application for graduation will be carried forward to the subsequent term. Students not meeting these deadlines will be considered graduates of the following semester. So diplomas and transcripts. After you're cleared by your academic dean and the registrar's office, your diploma will be mailed to you. using the address that you give during your graduate application process. You need to allow up to 6 to 8 weeks after the semester ends for your diploma to arrive. Transcripts may be requested in person, by mail, or on the web, and there's a $10 charge for each transcript request. Diplomas and transcripts will not be released until the student has cleared all his or her financial obligations to the university. So any parking fees, library fines, tuitions. If you have any kind of financial obligation to the university, you will not receive your diploma, and your degree will not be awarded on your transcripts. Thank you so much for watching this important orientation video. Please be sure to read through your graduate student handbook. This includes important information about each program. Also take a look through your JMC graduate student Canvas site, as there's a lot of great information there. And then also be sure to attend the live welcome sessions for each of your programs. The days and times for these, as well as the Zoom links, can be found on the Canvas site that I mentioned. So I look forward to working with you all on your programs, and best wishes to everyone, and go Knowles!